There was no smith found throughout all the land of Yisrael, for the polish team said, lest the Abrim make them swords or spears. But all Yisrael, they went down to the polish team to sharpen every man his share, and his coulter, and his axe, and his mattock. And the bluntness was pine to sharpen, for the mattocks, and for the coulters, and for the forks, and for the axes, and to set the goads. So it was in the day of battle, that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Shaul and Jonathan. But with Shaul and with Jonathan his son was there found. And the garrison of the polish team went out to the pass of Machmash. Of the books called Shamuel the first, chapter 14. Now it fell upon a day that Jonathan the son of Shaul said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over to the polish team's garrison that is on yonder side. But he told not his father. And Shaul abode in the uttermost part of the Gabaa, under the pomegranate tree, which is in Magron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Achiyah, the son of Achitob, Ichabod's brother, the son of Pinehas, the son of Eli, the priest of Yahweh in Shiloh, wearing a ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passes by which Jonathan sought to go over to the polish team's garrison, there was a rocky crag on the one side, and a rocky crag on the other side, and the name of the one was Botheth, and the name of the other Senner. The one crag rose up on the north in front of Machmash, and the other on the south in front of Gaba. And Jehonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that Yahweh will work for us, for there is no restraint to Yahweh to save by many or by few. And his armor-bearer said to him, Do all that is in thy heart. Turn thee, behold, I am with thee according to thy heart. Then said Jehonathan, Behold, we will pass over to the men, and we will disclose ourselves to them. If they say to us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go up to them. But if they say thus, Come up to us, then we will go up, for Yahweh hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be the sign to us. And both of them disclosed themselves to the garrison of the polish team. And the polish team said, Behold, the Abrim come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. And the men of the garrison responded to Jonathan and his armor-bearer, and said, Come up to us, and we will cause you to know a thing. And Jonathan said to his armor-bearer, Come up after me, for Yahweh hath delivered them into the hand of Yisrael. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet, and his armor-bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor-bearer slew them after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor-bearer made was about 20 men, within as it were half a furrow's length, in an acre of land. And there was a trembling in the camp, in the field, and among all the people. The garrison and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth quaked. So there was an exceeding great trembling. And the watchmen of Shaul in Gaba'at Benyamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went hither and thither. Then said Shaul to the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor-bearer were not there. And Shaul said to Ahiah, Bring hither the ark of the God. For the ark of the God was there at that time with the children of Israel. And it was, while Shaul talked to the priest, that the tumult that was in the camp of the Philistine went on and increased. And Shaul said to the priest, Withdraw thy hand. And Shaul and all the people that were with him were gathered together, and came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. Now the Abrim that were with the Philistine as beforetime, and that went up with them into the camp, from the country round about, even they also turned to be with Israel, which was with Shaul and Jonathan. Likewise all the men of Israel that had hid themselves in the hill country of Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistine fled, even they also followed hard after them in the battle. So Yahweh saved Israel that day, and the battle passed over by the horn. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Shaul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food until it be evening, and I be avenged on my enemies. So none of the people tasted food. And all the people came into the forest, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come to the forest, behold, the honey dropped. But there was not a one reaching his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. For what reason? He put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in the honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes became bright. Then answered one of the people, and said, Adjuringly thy father adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth food this day. And the people were faint. Then said Jonathan, My father hath troubled the land. See, I pray you, how my eyes became bright, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more, if perhaps the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies, which they found. For now the slaughter among the Philistine hath not become much. And they smote of the Philistine that day from Michmash to Ayalon, and the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood. Then they told Shaul, saying, Behold, the people sin against Yahweh, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have dealt treacherously. Roll a great stone to me this day. And Shaul said, Disperse yourselves among the people, and say to them, Bring me hither every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and sin not against Yahweh in eating with the blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. And Shaul built an altar to Yahweh. The same was the first altar that he built to Yahweh. And Shaul said, "Let us go down after the Pelishtim by night, and take spoil among them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them." And they said, "Do whatsoever seemeth good to thee." Then said the priest, "Let us draw near hither to the God." And Shaul asked counsel of God, "Shall I go down after the Pelishtim? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Yisrael?" But he answered him not in that day. And Shaul said, "Draw near hither, all ye chiefs of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as Yahweh liveth, who saveth Yisrael, though it be in Jonathan my son, dyingly he shall die." But there wasn't one answering him from all the people. Then said he to all Yisrael, "Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on one side." And the people said to Shaul, "Do what seemeth good to thee." And Shaul said to Yahweh the God of Yisrael, "For what answeredst thou not thy servant today? If there be in me or in Jonathan my son the iniquity, O Yahweh the God of Yisrael, give thou Urim. But if thus thou say, in thy people, give thou, I request, Tumim." And Jonathan and Shaul were caught, but the people went out. And Shaul said, "Cause to fall between me and Jonathan my son." And Jonathan was caught. Then Shaul said to Jonathan, "Tell me what thou hast done." And Jonathan told him, and said, "I did certainly taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in my hand, and lo, I must die." And Shaul said, "God do so and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan." And the people said to Shaul, "Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Yisrael? Far from it, as Yahweh liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day." So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Shaul went up from following the Pelishtim, and the Pelishtim went to their own place. Now when Shaul had taken the kingdom over Yisrael, he fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the kings of Tobah, and against the Pelishtim, and whithersoever he turned himself, he put them to the worst. And he did valiantly, and smote Amalek, and delivered Yisrael out of the hands of them that despoiled them. Now the sons of Shaul were Jonathan, and Yeshui, and Melchishur, and the names of his 2 daughters were these. The name of the firstborn daughter was Merob, and the name of the younger Michol. And the name of Shaul's woman was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. And the name of the captain of his host was Abner, the son of Ner, Shaul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Shaul, and Ner the father of Abner was the son of Abiel. And there was severe warring against the police team all the days of Shaul. And when Shaul saw any mighty man or any valiant man, he took him to him. And Shamuel said to Shaul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Yisrael. Now therefore hearken thou to the voice of the words of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I have marked that which Amalek did to Yisrael, how he set himself against him in the way, when he came up out of Mithraim. Now go and smite Amalek, and devote all that he hath, and spare him not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.